Oh hi, my nose is massive. It's back, lads. Do you want the best player on the game? I said, do you want the best player on the game? Beno Ronaldo, get D-Money. Get all the D-Monies. So if you guys want the best place to buy your coins on the internet, then go over to u7buy.com, use code Vizeh at checkout for a cheeky little discount, guys. And yeah, with that said, enjoy the video. VAR, other known as very annoying, really old white men. I mean, look at this guy. He looks like he just sold you a Ford Mondeo on Facebook Marketplace. Now, many people have their own opinions of VAR. People love it. People hate it, and mostly people hate it. But there's a question about VAR though, and this is the weird part. In the Champions League, in France, Germany, Spain, Italy, in all these major leagues, when there's a decision, the referee can go over to the screen and look at it for himself to then dictate should he make a certain call. He can say that it's a penalty or it's not a penalty. He can say, is it a red card or is it not a red card? But in England, yeah, that doesn't happen, does it? In England, we just think that we are better because we are England. The referee has a very minimal choice to actually look at the screen for some reason. They just kind of stand there and then get shouted at by players while he's just standing there being told off and being told what to do, like a good little boy. The referees nowadays has been literally took down to a level where they're literally just an 8-year-old kid waiting to go to the toilet until their daddy tells them to. So because of this, there has been many big VAR issues this year in the Premier League. Some bigger than others, some are completely stupid, and some weren't even given because VAR was not even turned on. How is VAR not even turned on? So we're going to go through every single Premier League team, and we're going to go through your team's worst VAR decision given against you. If I'm missing any out, tell me down below, and if you really want to go the extra mile, then please feel free and subscribe if you're new, and smash a like button if you guys do enjoy. And with that said, let's get triggered.
You gotta be lying. No. You gotta be lying.
No, you got to be.
You have to be lying.
You got to be.
You can't. He's not lying. Oh my god, he's not lying.
And look who it was.
I can already sense Twitter trembling. Bournemouth. Bournemouth is fun. It's very fun. Mainly because they went against Burnley. Let's imagine this situation, yes? And I think this could be possibly the worst VAR decision. And I know this because he went for Burnley. When the cross comes in, it hits Adam Smith's arm. Bournemouth goes on a counter-attack. They score a goal. Harry Wilson bags the goal for Bournemouth, and it's 1-1. Easy as that, yes? Well, not really. Because apparently, hitting his shoulder here meant that it was a penalty to Burnley. And Bournemouth's goal did not even happen. Imagine that. Oh my god. And then Germany gets stepped up, and next thing you know, it's Burnley 2, Bournemouth 0, after them literally just going a goal. You can't even describe this. Even as a Burnley fan, I can admit that this is completely bullshit. Arsenal. Now, there has been a few VAR decisions that's gone against them this year, but for me, this one is the worst one. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is currently 2-2. It is the 82nd minute. Xhaka has just gone off and told the entire Emirates to go f themselves, especially DT. The entirety of football Twitter is in a complete disarray. Robbie from AFTV is now currently, conveniently, now checking his bank balance to see if he can get a brand new Rolex. It is, according to Arsenal, Pepe whips in there, and then Chambers is in between two Palace defenders. They both fall over, the ball falls to Socrates, and then he smashes it into the back of the net. As easy as that. Arsenal 3, Palace 0, and Robbie from AFTV is in the mud. But no. No. And I do urge you guys to check every single VAR decision, because I can't play it really, because I'm, copyright on that. We love copyright, don't we? We do. But Chambers was literally stuck in between two Crystal Palace defenders, and then somehow, some way, that was actually counted as a foul. I can watch this so many times, and I have no idea how could that be considered as a foul. They're both fighting for the ball, and they both fall over each other's legs. Do you expect his legs to morph through it? This ain't FIFA 20. Aston Villa. Now, there's two which I could go for this game. The Fernandes penalty, non-penalty, which was given as a penalty, I would usually say, but the thing is, though, they probably would have lost the game anyway. So, even though it is dumb, I think there's one that's a bit worse than that, which actually would have meant a lot more to Villa, and that is against Crystal Palace. Palace, you are in the gulag for how much luck you fucking got this year. But it is kind of weird because he in fact did have some BS go against them, against Villa. So I guess what comes around goes around, whatever my dad says when he's thinks he's smart. Grealish doing what he can do for Villa and try and get a point. He drives the ball forward. He tries to get a point for them. He runs forward, and then Zaha is tracking behind him. Zaha, in fact, while they're both running, clips him. I don't think it was by purpose, but he did clip him. He, in fact, passes the ball to the right-hand side to Henry Lansbury. During that, he collides into Gary Cahill, and then Henry Lansbury smacks it into the back of the net, and it's Palace 1, Villa 1. Or is it? Now the issue is, right, is that the referee Kevin Friend, in fact, blew his whistle before Lansbury smacked it into the back of the net. There is a rule that VAR can overlook him blowing a whistle because he blew the whistle because he thought that Grealish dived. I know that he has dived before in the past, but this isn't a dive. He didn't ask for a foul, he literally was just running and then passed it off before it was too late. He collided into Gary Cahill. I feel like they have been bodied at least twice this year, but they have had some good luck, as we see later on. Brighton. Now, there's not much that really happened against Brighton, so I'm going to say one which they got very, very lucky with getting away with, and this is Brighton versus Everton. In fact, Connolly was fouled by Michael Keane. A lob through ball has been given to Connolly in the box, and Michael Keane touches him literally by the minimal of graze on the shoulder, and he fell down like a sack of shit. I watched his back, and he literally fell down from his shoulders. He literally just collapsed from thin air. I'm sorry. Burnley. Leicester City versus Burnley. Leicester 2, Burnley 1. It's a cross in the box towards Chris Wood. Chris Wood gets connection. It bounces off Schmeichel. It goes back towards Chris Wood and it's bouncing into the back of the net. As Chris Wood sees the ball rolling towards the back of the goal, he's running towards it to make sure it goes in. He's got his eyes directly on the ball, and Dudley Evans runs across him in the same path and then has the littlest, I don't even think there was even connection, but the smallest, even smidgen of connection to Chris Wood, and falls down like he's actually been kicked in the back of his legs. And that meant that a perfectly fine goal was written off by VAR. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that the littlest tiny connection, which was not meant anyway, that should not have been given against us, honestly. And if that is the case, then I think Evans needs to get like a -2 balance on FIFA, because that's ridiculous. Chelsea. This one is quite easy. Apparently Maguire is not a big fan of Michy Batshuayi having children. I don't get why, a bit strange. But Maguire's running down the left hand side, and he in fact falls over from running towards a ball. While Batshuayi is there, for some reason his right leg just massively just extends and perfectly into his balls. His face, his head is literally looking directly towards Batshuayi, so he knows that he's there. It seemed a bit kind of odd, and it is, let's be fair, if it's to do with balls, foul play. Crystal Palace. I really don't know how this happened, honestly. It's quite similar to what happened to Bournemouth, is that it hits a player's arm and yet it's given as a handball. Tackle from a corner, he goes to the ball, it hits his shoulder or his very, very top of his arm, and it goes back in the net, and that is being given as a handball. I don't know about you, but last time I learned in, football growing up, that this isn't your hand. Everton. This one is incredibly easy, and I don't know how this even happened. It is obviously the incident against Manchester United. It's Calvert-Lewin in the box. He does fantastic to get the ball onto his left foot. He shoots and it hits Maguire's leg, and in fact bounces into the back of the net. Now this is the issue, right? Sigurdsson, for some reason, just chilling on the ground. He's just sitting there, really. He's literally sitting there on the floor while Calvert-Lewin is there about to shoot. A bit dumb in first place, but we'll let it slide. He apparently, while being on the floor, was in the line of sight of the ball going in back of the net. Now, I don't know about you, but when a player is on the floor and you are standing above them, you're kind of tall, De Gea. So I don't know how on earth he's in the line of sight. Leicester City. I'm looking it up and not much I can find that has really actually gone against Leicester. So I'm going to say one which they luckily got away with potentially. I'm going to say the Jimmy Vardy kick against Arsenal very recently. If he meant it or not, that's not a question. Apparently that doesn't even matter anymore. Because guess what? Nketiah got a red card because of dangerous play. Just like Vardy's, which, most definitely got kicked in the face. Nketiah didn't mean to foul him. I think a kick to the face with studs is quite bad, not going to lie. I think he got quite lucky with that, to be fair. Liverpool. People for some reason want to say Liverpool. Liverpool. Apparently they get VAR odds. I don't think they do, but let's say they do. If you ask most Liverpool fans, they would easily say that Origi foul against Lindelof against Manchester United, of course. And the reason why this is so big, because he got fouled, and then that foul not being given, Manchester United countered, and then they went on a score from a Rashford goal. And this is where it gets a bit weird. I don't think this is even that bad of a VAR, because I could see this being given as a non-foul. Manchester City versus Spurs. In fact, the 90th minute, a corner whipped into the box. Laporte goes for the header. In fact, it goes below him, and it in fact hits his arm, and his arm is in a very, very natural position. But in fact, it did hit his arm. So I guess in the rules of the game, I guess that is being given as a foul, but it is in a natural position. Manchester United versus Bournemouth recently. They in fact beat them very easily. But the second goal for Bournemouth came through a penalty from Eric Bailly, going for the ball in the air, and he tries to head it, and it hit his shoulder, or basically the top part of his arm. Yet again, it's the top part of the arm which is causing issues, okay? Fortunately, these rules will be changed next year. Thank God. Newcastle. Not much really happened against them this year. Yeah. I can't find anything that actually went against Newcastle. So, consider yourself lucky, I guess. Norwich. Spurs, Pukki was set through on goal and then scored. Great, happy days. But not really, because VAR. Because Pukki was given offside for what I can only describe as the most smallest of margins in the world. We're going by toenails here, man. By toenail. I don't know how is this... how can you look at something, yeah, he's offside? You can't. Unless you can definitely tell he's offside, there's really no point in looking at it. Sheffield United. This one has got to be easily the non-goal, which was a goal against Aston Villa. The reason why it's this and not the offside against Tottenham is because of the fact that they in fact scored, but the reason why it wasn't allowed, because VAR was not turned on. The ball literally went so far behind the line, it's easily spottable. But because VAR was not even allowed and turned on during this game, and neither apparently was the goal line technology, it wasn't given as a goal. Southampton. Now, I couldn't really find much that went against Southampton again this year. I couldn't find much. I'm just going to play the Charlie Austin rant against VAR because I think that deserves its own thing alone. Enjoy that.
Ridiculous. They shouldn't win the game. They get a point. We score a perfectly good goal. Make it 2-0. Game's done dusted. We win the game. Officials cost us 2 points today. It's standard.
Tottenham Hotspur. This is very easily Lucas Moura handball against Sheffield United. So what happened is that Lucas Moura is running towards the goal, in fact gets fouled and then falls over. Then a Sheffield United player tries to pass the ball, but while doing that, accidentally passes it against Lucas Moura. It hits Lucas Moura's arm while he's in the middle of falling over. So it bounces off Lucas Moura, it goes in the path of Harry Kane, he does a body feint, and then bags it, and it's 1-1. They were currently 1-0 down, let's go instant goal, it's 1-1, game on. No. Apparently it's his fault for even trying to fall over. I don't get it really. He's looking away from the ball, it's not like he purposely put his hand in the way of the ball, so how can that be given as a foul against him? I don't know. Watford. Now there's not much for Watford, but for what I could find, from what I remember, it was against Burnley. Watford 1-0 down at home against Burnley in the 80th minute. Holebas tries to clear the ball, but yet Ashley Barnes, because he is a beast, Ashley Barnes basically gets the ball just before Holebas can, and in process kicks Ashley Barnes' leg. VAR looks through it, and it's being given as a Burnley penalty. For me, that's quite harsh. I don't think that should be given really, because he has no idea where Ashley Barnes even is. So the fact that that is being given against him is a bit... West Ham United. Sheffield United 1, West Ham 0. Declan Rice driving through the midfield and battling through a few Sheffield United players. One of the Sheffield United players heads the ball into the path of Declan Rice, and in the process, it bounces off Declan Rice's arm. He then moves forward, sets the ball off to the Snodgrass, and then he bangs it into the back of net. Sheffield United 1, West Ham 1. But not really, because Sheffield United's player literally headed it into Declan Rice's arm. He had no idea where the ball was. He had no intention of hitting the ball with his hand, and it literally was so close to him that he had no chance to even get out of the way of it. For me, that's unfair, and I think that they probably deserve the point here against Sheffield United. And then here comes the last one, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves has had quite a few unfortunate VARs this year. For me, it's going to be their offside call against Leicester City at home. In fact, Willie Boyce got a goal, and it was given us offside because of this. That little tiny gap. At this stage, I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't. So there you go, boys. That has been your club's worst VAR decision against your club this year. Tell me down below, have I missed any out? And tell me what you think is your worst decision at all. For me, it's probably the Bournemouth one, actually. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to smash a like button, subscribe if you're new, and thank you for watching. My name is Vizeh. I'll see you next time.